Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CampAvto, the channel where we look at vehicles that make modern crossovers nervous and slightly insecure. Today's hero is not fast, not light, and absolutely not aerodynamic, but it has something far more powerful: confidence. The 1967 Chevrolet P20 Flxible Motorhome is the kind of machine that doesn't rush anywhere because it already brought the house with it. This is not a vehicle you drive. It is a lifestyle you accidentally block traffic with. Before we dive deep into rivets, leaf springs, and the sort of engineering decisions that make modern politicians look decisive, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep telling stories about vehicles that look like they survived 3 economic crises, 2 fashion disasters, and at least 1 argument with a park ranger. The story of the 1967 Chevrolet P20 Flxible Motorhome begins in the United States, in the middle of the 1960s, when America was discovering that freedom meant not only going somewhere, but staying there comfortably. Chevrolet supplied the foundation in the form of its P-Series forward-control truck chassis, while the living quarters were created by Flxible Southern, a division of the Flxible Company operating out of Evergreen, Alabama. Flxible itself was a legendary American coach builder with roots going back to the early 20th century, best known for buses and commercial coaches rather than leisure vehicles. In 1964, Flxible acquired Southern Coach Manufacturing, and that acquisition opened the door to smaller specialty vehicles, including motorhomes like this one. The precise identities of the designers behind the P20 Flxible Motorhome remain undocumented, which was entirely normal for coach-built vehicles of the era. This was not a world of celebrity designers. It was a world of clipboards, slide rules, and men who believed aluminum panels should be thick enough to survive an argument. Engineering guidance came from Flxible's historic Ohio headquarters, while Southern Coach adapted that experience to lighter-duty Chevrolet platforms. The result was a motorhome that felt more like a scaled-down bus than a glorified camper. The market context of the late 1960s is essential to understanding why this vehicle exists at all. Purpose-built recreational vehicles were still a developing idea. Companies like Winnebago were only beginning to standardize production, while many buyers still relied on custom or semi-custom conversions. The Chevrolet P-Series chassis, including the P10, P20, and P30, was designed for delivery vans, step vans, and specialized commercial bodies. The P20 designation indicated a 3/4-ton class, offering a compromise between payload capacity and drivability. For coach builders, it was a reliable, widely supported platform that could handle serious weight without the cost of a full heavy truck chassis. Flxible Southern positioned its motorhome squarely between commercial durability and emerging leisure comfort. The target audience was not the casual weekend camper, but families and long-distance travelers who wanted independence from motels and tent poles without stepping up to massive bus conversions. Production numbers were never formally published because these vehicles were built to order. Each unit could differ in layout and equipment, making mass accounting difficult. What is clear is that production volumes were very low compared to mainstream RV manufacturers, and survival rates today are correspondingly tiny. Most estimates suggest only a few dozen examples from this era remain in any condition, with far fewer still roadworthy. At the mechanical heart of the 1967 Chevrolet P20 Flxible Motorhome was the Chevrolet P20 chassis itself, chosen for its simplicity and proven reliability. Engine options varied, but RV buyers typically favored more powerful gasoline units. Chevrolet's 250 cubic inch inline-6, displacing about 4.1 litres, was common in commercial service, while many motorhomes were specified with the 283 cubic inch V8, roughly 4.6 litres, producing around 175 horsepower. These engines were mounted longitudinally at the front in a forward control layout, paired with either manual or automatic transmissions. Power delivery was unremarkable by modern standards, but predictable and easy to service almost anywhere in America. Supporting the coachwork was a traditional ladder-type steel frame with reinforced cross members. Flxible installers modified the chassis only as necessary to accommodate holding tanks, cabinetry, and interior systems. Suspension consisted of leaf springs at both ends, while braking was handled by hydraulic drum brakes on all four wheels, entirely typical for trucks of the period. Steering was via a recirculating ball system, heavy but durable. Original wheels were heavy-duty steel units, often with six-lug patterns designed to carry serious weight. The coach body itself was constructed from aluminum exterior panels mounted over a wooden subframe, insulated and finished inside to create a self-contained living space. Layouts varied, but most included a dining area, galley, sleeping accommodations, and compact sanitation facilities. Electrical, plumbing, and heating systems were installed to customer specification, meaning no two interiors were exactly alike. Overall length typically ranged from about 22 to 28 feet, or roughly 6.7 to 8.5 meters, depending on configuration. Weight was substantial, often pushing the limits of the P20's original ratings, which is why many owners later reinforced suspension components. On the road, expectations needed to be realistic. Top speeds generally hovered around 55 to 60 miles per hour, or approximately 89 to 97 kilometers per hour. Fuel consumption ranged from about 6 to 10 miles per gallon, reflecting both mass and aerodynamics that could politely be described as optimistic. Cooling systems were known weak points on long climbs, and many owners upgraded radiators and airflow over time. Yet this was entirely normal for motorhomes of the era, and part of their character. Flxible's bus-building heritage was evident everywhere, from the rugged construction to the restrained, utilitarian styling. This was not a flashy motorhome, designed to endure rather than impress. And yes, my friend Timmy once looked at a similar vintage RV and confidently announced he could totally fix that carburetor in an afternoon, which is exactly how you end up camping permanently in someone's driveway.